Well, hello, welcome to the stretch class today. Be sure to listen to your bodies, don't overdo. It's a good idea to kind of warm up before you do the deep stretches. Maybe walk around the block or do some knee lifts or squats or something to kind of warm up your body before you do the stretches. Let's get started on the floor. I usually like to start in this position. And up nice and tall, rib cages in. Let's inhale, grow taller, like somebody's pulling the top of the back of your head, pulling behind your ears, pulling you up taller. And from there, tip your ear to one shoulder. And your body is still up nice and straight, your rib cage is in, and that opposite shoulder is down. And then take your hand and very, very gently touch the top of the side of your head. And feel that stretch deepen a bit in the side of the neck. And let's pour over to a side bend from there. And just go where you can go. Feel that stretch in the waist. And just hold. Try to keep that opposite hip pressing into the ground. Don't let your hip come up. And slowly help yourself back up to center. And again, up nice and tall. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, and as you're tall, 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 feel as if someone has got their hands behind your ears and they're pulling your head up, 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 nice and tall. And then from there, tip your ear to the other shoulder and keep the stomach in, the rib cage is in. Feel that nice stretch on the side of the neck. And then just pour over to the other side. And, feel that stretch in your waist, side body. But try to keep that hip down. In an effort to try to get over further, a lot of times the hip comes up. It's better to have the hip down and use your hand to support you as you're stretching than it is to do like this, right? So you'll get a better stretch if you press that hip down into the floor. And come up. All right. Up nice and tall again. And tip your ear to the first shoulder. And from there, turn your nose to shoulder, chin to chest. And just hold, just relax into it. Try to keep your body still facing directly front, keeping the rib cage in, keeping the stomach in. Now you should feel it in the upper part of the back of the neck and the upper part of the back of the shoulder, the traps. And then drop the chin to the chest. And so you're sitting up nice and tall. You're equidistant on both hips. Your rib cage is in. Your chin is to your chest. Shoulders are down. And from there, pour down one vertebrae at a time so that your head goes towards your feet. And just relax over, allowing the weight of your head to go toward your feet. And now you should feel a nice stretch in the outer hip, the gluteals, the inner thigh, and a little bit in the back. Nice stretch. And use your hands to help you to sit up nice and tall. And again, feel feel like somebody's pulling the backs behind your ears, at the back of your head. You're going tall, tall, tall. And then from there, tip your ear to that other shoulder. And then nose to shoulder, chin to chest. And relax into that. Stomach is in, rib cage is in. And then drop the chin to the chest. And come up. All right, let's just reach over to the side again, this side. And feel that stretch maybe a little farther than you did the first time, making sure that that opposite hip is down into the floor. Now from there, turn your upper body so that your ribs go by your thigh and your head goes towards your knee and your hands are on either side of your knee. You may even feel this in the opposite inner thigh a little bit. And then if you can, walk your hands out a little farther away from your knee. So you should feel a nice, long, deep stretch going all down the side body, all the way from the hips, all the way up through the shoulder. And feel free to stay there or begin to walk your hands backward toward the back of the room a bit. So you're deepening the twist a little. Always listen to your body, don't overdo. Do what you can. And then bring your hands back and then turn your body directly front with your arm over your ear, and you should feel a significant improvement or increase in your stretch in that side bend. All right, help yourself sit up. Oh. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Reach up and over. First, get familiar with that position. Shoulders away from the ears. Stomach is in. Opposite hip is pressed into the floor. And when you're ready, turn your upper body towards your thigh and your head towards your knee and your hands on either side of your knee. Now I feel that in my inner thigh as much as anything. Now, if you can, if you'd like, walk your hands out a little farther away from your knee so you deepen that stretch in your side body. And feel free to stay there or walk your hands back a little bit toward the back wall so you're increasing your twist there. Now if any of these feel too intense, you want to ease up a little bit. And then turn your body to face directly front. And you should feel a deeper stretch that way. And come up. All right, let's inhale, arms up. And clasp your hands and reverse your hands so your palms are to the ceiling and stretch, stretch, stretch up nice and tall. Then from there, contract round And open the upper back, stretching the upper back. So your nice rounded contraction. Rounding, rounding, rounding. Stretching kind of in between the shoulder blades. And then sitting up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale and clasp the hands behind you and stretch. So you're stretching the front of the chest a little bit and the shoulders. Trying to lift the palms, the hands up a little bit. And then if you can, lift the chest, kind of arch up. Don't let your head drop back, but you're lifting in the chest. And just release and round. And shoulder rolls back. A 2, a 3, a 4. All right, let's extend. Actually, let's extend one leg and the other foot comes to the thigh. And flex the foot and inhale, arms up. And exhale and stretch over, and the ribs are by the thigh, the head is by the knee. And try to keep the foot flexed and keep the knee on top. So we're starting with the deeper stretch for the calf and the hamstrings. And then relax your foot, or stretch your foot, but more so just relax it. And then try to deepen your stretch closer. Your body is closer to your thigh and your head is closer to your knee. And come up. Always use your hands to help you up so you don't strain yourself. And let's try the other leg. So the other leg is front, flexing your foot so your knee is on top. Your hips are square to the front. And inhale, arms up. Exhale and stretch over. And try to keep the foot flexed for a bit so your ribs are near your thigh and your head is towards your knee. And then just relax the foot and try to go down a little closer to your thigh, a little closer to your knee. And use your hands to help you come up. And let's go ahead and have both legs out in front and pointing the toes, knees are on top. Inhale, arms up. Exhale and stretch forward and just hold on where you can hold on the sides of your legs. You may be up here, you may be your hands by your calves, you may by your ankles or by your feet. Just go where you can go and try to release, relax into it so your muscles release. A lot of times we're not aware of our muscles still holding on tight. So I hold the stretches, I mean I don't really count, but it's about 20 seconds or so that we can release the muscles and relax them to help elongate. And come up a little bit and let's flex your feet. And actually let's do a diagonal spine, a straight diagonal spine, and reach your hands towards your feet. So you're reaching forward, and you should feel a deeper stretch in your calves and your hamstrings, back of the legs. Shoulders are down, stomach is in, but your back is nice and straight in a long diagonal. And then just rest your hands like on your shins or your thighs and try to increase that stretch from the low back. So it's like the low back is stretching more forward so that your abdominals are closer to your thighs. And relax. Okay, so let's go ahead and open to second position and just go where you can go. And let's just go over and stretch. And just hold that stretch in your second. This time we can let our legs flop in if you wanted to. Your knees can go in so you can feel that inner thigh stretch. I like to let my legs flop in. It just feels good. It's a good stretch for the inner thigh. Good. Alright, and help yourself come back up. And let's flex the feet and flex the palm and reach to one side. So your wrist is flexed and your feet are flexed. And stretch, feel a stretch in the waist. And come up, and let's do the other side, and flex, stretch. And up. All right, so let's bring the legs back in, and let's do, let's have one foot in front of the other. So let's just put your right foot in front, albeit opposition. And so you're inhaling nice and tall, and then let's twist toward the foot that's in front. And take that opposite hand and hold on to that opposite knee and twist around. So try to have a nice spiral all the way around. Your rib cage is in, stomach is in, shoulders are down, and you're twisting all the way around. And just hold. Try to relax as you're twisting. And then inhale and grow taller. Exhale and deepen the twist. Inhale, grow taller. And exhale, deepen the twist. And very slowly come back to center and switch feet. So the other foot is in front. And inhale, tall, tall, tall. Make sure you're nice and aligned. The rib cage is in, stomach is in, and then begin to twist with the opposite hand on the knee, or above the knee, and twist all the way around. And inhale, grow taller. Exhale, deepen your twist. And inhale, grow taller. Exhale, deepen the twist. And one more time, inhale, tall. And exhale, deepen the twist. And very slowly come back to center. All right, let's take the arms out to the side and take one hand and cross it over, and take your other hand and like hold it there. So it's like you're cradling your elbow, or just above the elbow, in your crux of the other arm. And keep the shoulder away from your ear. So we're really stretching the shoulder a bit, the back of the shoulder. I don't know, I never feel this one. Maybe I'm just really flexible, but I never feel it. But I know that it's supposed to stretch your shoulder. Maybe you guys are feeling it. All right, and let's take the other one and cross over and cradle it there. Stretch. Try to keep that shoulder down. All right, and let's take your arms up and hold one hand onto one elbow and pull that elbow kind of behind your head. And so we're stretching the triceps, the back of the arm. And when we do this, try not to let your back go forward or your head go forward. Try to still keep everything nice and tall. In fact, I'm kind of using my head to keep my elbow back. So it's like my elbow is resting on the back of my head. All right, and let's do the other side. Arms up, and the other hand holds the other elbow, and stretch that tricep, back of the arm. Alrighty, good. All right, let's do, let's take whatever leg is in front and cross it over the other leg. So there's different degrees that you can do this. There's crossing one knee right on top of the other one, or you can cross your ankle over your knee, or you could even sit back like that, as if you're sitting in a chair with your leg crossed like that. So the idea is that we're stretching the outer hip and the piriformis muscles. So when you've got your position, come up nice and tall, and then lean forward from the low back. So kind of like we did when our legs were front, and we're feeling that low back pressing forward. That's where you want to be. And your shoulders are down, your rib cage is in, and nice long diagonal spine from the head to the tailbone. So you should feel it in your outer hip a bit, in your piriformis. And then from there, let's just let our ribs go down onto the thigh, or towards the thigh, and your head towards your knee. And reach your hands out away from you and stretch. Oh, what's up? Tell me all about it. Oh my goodness. All right, and help yourself sit back up. And let's take that same leg that's on top and go ahead and put it back behind you. And lean back for a nice quadricep stretch. So we're stretching the front of the thigh. Hi, Mama. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell me all about it. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Go ahead up on your hand and let's stretch that back leg and reach around behind you. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then take that hip goes down first, bend that back knee, and then go back again on your elbow and stretching the quads. So it goes from a quadricep stretch to kind of a hip flexor stretch. So from here, and let's push up and stretch back and reach, reach, reach. And I see you. And then the hip goes down and sit back and stretch back. Feel it in the quads. All right, let's do that whole thing on the other side. So we started with the other leg on top then, and knees are stacked if you can. Now if your knees are stacked, you want to make sure that your hips are down, and from there we're up nice and tall, rib cage is in, and we lean forward with a nice diagonal spine, feeling that deeper stretch in the outer hip and the gluteals. And I know you've heard me say that this really helps if you've got sciatica or sciatic nerve pain going down, because the piriformis muscle is that transverse muscle that goes across kind of the gluteals, and it also goes over top of like the sciatic nerve. So stretching that sometimes will help relieve sciatic pain. And then let's take your hands and reach out so your ribs are by your thigh, your head is by your knee, and your hands are reaching forward. So kind of a deeper stretch in the gluteals. And help yourself come up, and let's take that top leg and put it back behind you for your hamstring, your quadricep stretch. So you're leaning back on your elbow and feeling that nice stretch in the quads, front of the thigh. Oh my goodness, you just want all the attention, don't you? Yes, you do. Hello. Yeah. All right, and then we push up on our hand, stretch that leg behind you, and reach, reach, reach in opposition. Feeling that nice stretch in the hip flexor. And then bend the knee, the hip goes back, and sitting back, stretching the quads again. And then one more time, up and stretch and reach, reach, reach. All right, good. So while we're in this position, let's go even a little deeper with that hip flexor stretch. So this time, try to have your hips square, so you're on kind of like both hips, and your shoulders are down away from your ears, rib cage is in, and if you want even a deeper stretch, you can flex your foot and lift up your leg so your leg is off of the mat if you want. That's a deeper stretch there, or not. And from there, let's just round forward and reach the arms out as far as you can go. And again, stretching the piriformis muscle back there. And come up. And if you'd like, you can either stay here or practice a split. I always like to keep up with splits. Alrighty, let's do that whole thing on the other side. So, bending the front knee and the back leg is straight, directly back behind you. And you're square to that wall, and your shoulders are away from your ears, your ribs are in, hips are square. And if this position is difficult, you can always grab a pillow. And if you're sitting on a pillow, putting it under the leg that's bent, it'll, help you kind of ease into it. And then let's just go forward, allowing your ribs by your thigh and your head toward the floor. Help yourself out. All right, let's actually go ahead and get on all fours for a moment. And this feels so good, especially after you've been doing abdominal work, is the abdominal stretch. So, and it's a nice back stretch as well. So your wrists are right under your shoulders, you're in neutral spine, and we'll exhale and round in the spine. Nice and round. And then reverse it, the tailbone comes up and your chest kind of goes through your arms, and you stretch the waist, the abs in the opposite direction. And then contract starting in the abdominals, rounding in the spine, rounding the back. And inhale and press through and stretching the abdominals. And exhale, round, nice and round, stretching the back. And press through and stretching the abs. All right, and let's tuck the toes under and stretch upside down like a tent, shoulders away from the ears. And let's go ahead and bend one knee and press the other heel toward the floor for a good calf stretch. And switch, so bend the other knee and press the other heel toward the floor. And then alternate at your own pace, heel and heel, stretch and stretch. And, all right, this one is a little tricky, but take one foot and place it a little more toward the center of your mat. And lift that other leg up in the air, and it's a nice stretch. Then, if you can, bend that back knee, and your big toe is going kind of toward the floor. And you should really feel, oh, that feels so good. It's a good stretch for the front of the thigh, the hip flexor, the front body, a little bit in the side body. Oh, and then extend that leg up, put it down, and let's do the other foot, and stretch up. One side is always easier than the other, and bend the knee, and open up the hip. Oh, it's funny how I can hardly do it on this side, but the other side could do. And oh, that's such a nice stretch. And extend the leg back up and square the hips, bring the foot down and walk your hands in. And soften the knees so that your ribs rest on your thighs And then just fold your arms. Just cross your arms. And just hang there so your ribs are resting on your thighs. And your head is just dangling between your shoulders. And nod your head yes. Nod your head no. And just hang there a little bit. Really kind of opens up the upper back. And you feel it in the hamstrings a little. And then hands on the floor and begin to stretch both legs to your degree. And soften the knees and use your hands and your thighs to help you if you'd like. And rolling up one vertebrae at a time, leaving the chin for the very last. And rounding up. And let's do, actually, let's go ahead and do a lunge. So just one knee is bent and the other leg is straight. And your toes may not necessarily be directly toward the wall. That heel can kind of turn in just a little bit. And from there, let's go forward and down. And then straighten out that front leg. So try to square your hips. Actually, if you can, try to have all 10 toes face in one direction. Do. So this is a nice hamstring stretch and a good calf stretch. And soften the knee, and let's turn front and a nice wide stance. So your toes are facing front to where you can put your elbows on the floor. And just hang upside down there. And let's turn the other way. So all 10 toes face the other wall. And go to where you can reach the floor. I mean, you may have to make your feet wider apart to be able to get in that position, or you can bring your feet closer together, whatever works for you. And just feel that stretch both in the calf and the hamstring of the front leg and the calf of the back leg. Alright, and let's go ahead and bring both feet together or hip distance apart, rounded, and rounding up again, one vertebrae at a time. Use your hands to help you if you want. And inhale, arms up. And exhale. Thank you. God bless you. We'll see you next time.